Here's my final project. So it starts out with this. I started out with this gain effect tutorial I saw, and I steadily layered sounds on it, mostly from left to right, and I kind of created my final project. So I started out with my intro, which is pretty basic. I have some bass here, my punchy drums, and then some vocal ambiance. Um, and then I move on to this vocal solo where I do a little bit of improv using these three tracks right here, which I've working with my APC 20 so I can play it like an instrument. And then in the second part, I introduce my clicks right here, which you can hear in your right ear, and then this moving voice follow. And then I have some drum fills right here to transition. And then next, I get to the second part in my third scene. I introduce this electric violin right here. It's pretty drony, but I think it sounds really cool with everything else going on. And then I introduce my funky beat. I have some trumpets, got some hi-hats there. Sounds pretty awesome. I boosted my gated pad, a couple semitones. And then after this, I get into my final break, which is where I add this beat right here. And then I got my Sandman synth, which I created in Collision. It sounds really awesome. Moving voice follow. Change my 16th gain effect up a little bit. And then more vocals. A tiny bit of improv here. Then my finale. This is where I have a lot of improv at the end here. That's kind of the culmination of everything you see before. I got my pads, gain effect, another ambiance, all these effects. And then I have this electric rhythm piano I created with like drum instruments. And then my funky beat, I got my kick, and then I use this external VST to boost the kind of boost the kick a little bit. And then yeah, that's the general layout of my song. The routing is pretty basic. Everything's sent to the master. And then as for my returns, I have two reverbs and then a delay, two reverbs, delay, and then I have my demi gate, which is basically what I use to kind of initiate this gain effect. So this pad right here, all of its audio is sent to this this return right here, which in turn is sent to the gain effect and adds this cool trance sound to it. My instruments were mainly I mainly acquired them through a sample pack I have, and then a bunch of them I created using built-in instruments, and then I have some acapellas right here I had lying on my computer. So that's kind of the basics of it, and as I said, I kind of just layered everything together to create my song. An automation with my violin right here. I messed around with this sync rate on my auto filter, mapped this to a MIDI controller and messed around with it. And this was one of the MIDI instruments I used, so I kind of created a bunch of notes right here. And then I got a bunch of audio, kind of audio tracks right here. And for some of my vocal audio tracks, I messed around with the warp mode, so I got tones, beats, texture, repitch. I got the whole spectrum to get different audio effects here. For my convert to MIDI function, I got my drum fill over here. What I did is this tom right here, I just converted it to a new MIDI track, and it gave me this awesome drum rack which I could play around with and make fills with. And then my bass over here, I got some clip envelope, got an envelope right there. And then it's also another instance of an audio track. Here I got some instances of Live's instruments. First I'll start out with the electric violin. This one was pretty cool. Got messed around with the notes over here, had some pretty basic effects on it, some compression, pain, turned out good. Here I got Sandman. This is one of my favorites. I used Collision to make this really cool sound. You hear a lot of in the song. And then over here I got my drum rack for the drum fills. And then this was a lot of fun to play with. I got a bunch of toms on there. And then as far as audio effect racks go, over here with my drums, I got EQ8, filter delay, glue compression, saturator all in a rack. I mapped the controls to these macros over here. Mapping everything to the arrangement view was pretty straightforward. Kind of just labeled the scenes here. And then I did a lot of automation though. So a lot of automation with the track volume, the reverb, did a lot of stuff with panning with the gating effects and the volume. It turned out pretty good. As I said, I did a lot of the improv with the vocals, but I cut and pasted a lot of stuff to make it sound perfect for listening. And then, yeah, as I said, a lot of modulation with the volume, and I kind of wanted it to fade out at the end. So everything went pretty straightforward. Lastly, here's my external VST I used for my drums. It's called Sausage Fatter. It made the sounds a lot fatter.